mind, looking for a dime. James Locke in the house, gonna help you shine.
Welcome to the Pool Lock YouTube channel. I'm James Locke. Today, we're gonna answer some more Ask James questions of the day. And this first question is from Chris. Now he says, a lot of financial advisors want to work with baby boomers because honestly, we're the ones that have money. So why don't they know how to generate real income? Chris, so you are a baby boomer yourself, so you will appreciate this when I say that's the $64,000 question, right? None of the millennials will know what I mean by that, but it really is the $64,000 question, and I've thought about it a lot. Here's the historical context. Going back to the late 60s and 70s, when people retired and needed income, the approach was almost universally income first. Live off the interest and dividends, don't touch your principal. That was the standard. That was the expectation. The principal was the chicken and the income was the eggs. You ate the eggs, you didn't eat the chicken. That started to change in the 1980s. Wall Street and the big firms figured out that if they kept people in capital appreciation-based instruments, stocks, equity funds, growth-oriented portfolios, there would be a little more growth over the long run. And more importantly, for the firm, they could charge more and more in fees and commissions. A portfolio with more risk justifies a higher advisory fee. It's a business model, and it works very well for the people collecting the fee. So most financial advisors learned the business at one of those big firms where capital appreciation was the default setting. It got hardwired into how they think. And then when they started to work with older clients, people who actually needed income, they never made the mental shift. They kept doing what they had always done because that was what they had always been taught. And here's the other layer to your question. It is partly a language problem. And when a baby boomer client sits down and says, I want growth, the capital appreciation focused advisor hears that and thinks that they're aligned, but they're not. The client means they want their money to go up. The advisor hears a mandate for aggressive equities. Nobody corrects the misunderstanding because nobody realizes there even was one. So I also want to add what my colleague and founder of Retirement Income Source, Dave, says about this, because it really captures the problem well. So many clients come in and they genuinely do not know what they own or why they own it. They cannot explain their own portfolio to you. That tells me the advisor is probably disclosing things technically, legally, but doing it in a way that goes, completely over the client's head. And clients, especially men, do not want to feel uninformed. So they nod along, They pretend they understand. They go home and they still don't know what they own. So if you do not understand something, if you don't understand something that your advisor is saying, push back. Hey, say, I'm sorry, can you explain that in simpler terms? A good advisor will welcome that. They'll slow down, they'll find a different way and make sure you leave the meeting with a clear picture. If your advisor cannot do that, if they keep, retreating into jargon, no matter how many times you ask for clarity, that's a telling sign. It's telling you something important about whether this is the right relationship. Here's what we always say on this show. The principal is the chicken, the income is the egg. You eat the eggs, you don't eat the chicken. So when an advisor keeps you in a capital appreciation strategy through retirement, they're setting you up to eat the chicken. Even withdrawal, is a piece of the portfolio gone forever, right? Unable to generate future income. An income-first strategy keeps the chicken alive and lets the eggs pay your bills. That is fundamentally different philosophy, and it requires an advisor who actually understands it and believes in it, not one who stumbled into it because their clients are now older. So that was a great and fairly complex question. Thanks for that. And if you'd like to send in your question, we'd love to have it. You can email it to poollock@poollock.com. Our second question is from Brenda. She wants to know, I have a female advisor because male advisors tend to talk over my head. Do you guys have any female advisors on your team? Well, Brenda, we absolutely do. And I want to say first that your instinct here makes complete sense. I've been a strong advocate for women in financial services for at least my entire career. And, one of my genuine frustrations with this industry is how few female advisors there are. You go to a financial conference and the ratio is roughly 8, 9 to 1, male to female. I have never fully understood that because the skills that make someone a great financial advisor are not skills that skew towards a man, right? To be a great financial advisor, yes, you need to understand the financial material. You need to know the products, the tax rules, the strategies, but you also need the right brain side. You need to listen well. You need to connect with people. You need to make clients feel heard and understood. And in my experience, women tend to be stronger listeners than men. They tend to connect more naturally. They tend to be more comfortable saying, I don't know the answer to that off the top of my head, but I'm going to go and find out, and I'll call you tomorrow. Now, that last part is worth, pausing on because it matters more than people realize. This is the old saying that men will drive around in circles for hours rather than stop and ask for directions. Now, hopefully GPS has solved that, right? But the same dynamic shows up in financial advising. A male advisor, when asked a question he's not immediately sure about, is more likely to talk around it or give a confident sounding answer that may not be fully accurate than to simply say, I don't know, let me look into that for you. Now, a female advisor, in my experience, is more likely to just say the honest thing, and that is enormously valuable when we're talking about your retirement savings. The male ego also creates a different problem on the client side. Male clients in particular often do not want to admit they don't understand something. So there's a reluctance to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm lost. So when a male advisor is using language that's over a male client's head, both people are performing confidence, at each other, and nobody is actually communicating, right? So the client walks out not fully understanding their own financial situation, and the advisor walks out thinking everything went great. I tell any advisor in this office, hey, male and female alike, that you have to be a good listener first. You have to check your ego at the door. And you have to have enough emotional intelligence to read the room and know when someone is with you or when they're lost. So this is not a gender thing. It's a skill, and it's one we prioritize heavily. Interesting questions today. As always, if you want to send in your question, love to have it. Email your questions to poollock@poollock.com. And if you like what you heard, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. I'm James Locke, your retirement income source. I'll see you next time.
Money on my mind, looking for a dime. James Locke in the house, gonna help you shine. Retirement is near, don't you live in fear. Listen up, my friend, let me make it clear.